Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to America once again, and as I told you in the other videos related to this one, my favourite shop over in Copenhagen, Kiosk, they had a Chicago Beer Week event over there recently, so they imported a lot of different things from Illinois over in America for us to try, and it's always quite cool to try beers from different states in America because I know that there's some kind of crazy laws over there that mean you can't get beers from your neighbouring state and things like this because of there's laws against actually transporting beer over state borders and things. So when we get stuff that's from different states, it is pretty cool. Most of the American beers that we get tend to be from Colorado or from California, which are kind of the big beer states. So for this one we are going to head to Noon Whistle Brewing Company for the first time. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers. These guys are from Lombard, which is out to the west of Chicago, and we're going to have a taste of their Gummycolada. So this one comes in at 6.6% ABV. It's part of their Gummy series, which is the New England IPA series that they do. This one comes in at 6.6%. It's hot with Citra, and it also has Falconer's Flight in it, which is a 7-hop blend if I'm remembering correctly, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. They've also added some coconut to the brew in this one, which as far as I can remember, I don't think I've had from an IPA before. I don't think I can think of any European breweries. I've had it in stouts and porters and things like that, but I can't think of ever having this one in an IPA, so really looking forward to this one. It's always cool to try new beers from different breweries, like I said, and as always I'll tell you a little bit of a history of the brewery. So if you're interested just in the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Noon Whistle Brewing. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, like I said. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the American beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, on to my brewery notes then about Noon Whistle Brewing. So as I mentioned to you earlier, Noon Whistle Brewing are based in Lombard, which is in western Chicago, and this company was founded by childhood friends Mike Condon, Paul Craner and Jim Cagle. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one, but Paul and Mike went to university together, and after they graduated, Paul was working for one of the Chicago beer distributors, and he started home brewing as well, and eventually attended the Cybele Institute in Chicago for an official certificate in brewing. But soon Paul asked Mike if he would be interested in making a beer business together, and they soon included Jim and drew up the business plan. The brewery itself opened in December of 2014 on Roosevelt Road. Mike tends to take care of the sales side of the brewery while Jim deals with the business side, and Paul of course is the one who does the brewing and things. But the brewery focus mainly on IPAs and sours. They've got their Prism series, which are the West Coast type IPAs. They do the more bitter ones. They've got their Gummy series as well, which are the New England style IPAs. They've also got their Sour Smack series, which obviously is the sour beers, and they've got their Big Beer series as well, which tends to be the the heavy IPAs, the double IPAs and stuff like this. There's some Imperial Stouts and all of this kind of thing in there as well, and they've got barrel-aged beers in there too. But they do have an on-site tap room, and they're currently looking to expand the brewery with a second site in Naperville, which is a little bit to the southwest of where they currently are in Lombard as well. But yeah, like I said, these beers were imported over into to Copenhagen when I go across there from South Sweden. I go across there once a month or so, but these beers were imported by Kiosk, and as I say, it's very cool to try some more Chicago, Illinois beers. A special shout out in this video of course to Jesse Holden, who's a long-term follower of the channel from that sort of area. He introduced me to Pipeworks before these beers were being imported over to Europe, which was really cool actually. So another one of his kind of local breweries out there. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery just now. If you want to learn a little bit more, you can check out the brewery website in the description below. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and things like that, and that will keep you up to date with the latest goings on at this brewery. But they do have a fair number of beers there. They've got quite a few in that Prism series, they've got a good few in the Gummy series as well, and of course they're always bringing out new things. So like I say, keep up to date with what's going on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all of these kind of things. So yeah, let's go on to the tasting of this beer itself. So like I told you, this one is a 6.6% IPA. It's hot with Citra, which we all know, and Falconer's Flight, and they've also also added coconut to the brew. So Falconer's Flight, I looked up this hop, or what I thought was a single hop, before we filmed this video. Apparently this is a blend of the 7C hops. So in this one there's Cascade, Centennial, Chinook, Citra, Cluster, Columbus and Crystal. Cluster and Crystal are ones that I hadn't heard of so much. Cluster tends to be used as a bittering hop, and I think it's actually one of the oldest American hop varieties that you get, and Crystal is one that I've heard of once or twice, and again this is mainly a bittering hop, but it does have quite a sort of distinctive woody kind of quality to it. Columbus of course is quite well known as a bittering hop, quite a spicy, it's got a really distinctive floral spicy note to it. Chinook of course is the kind of pine resin, dark grapefruit sort of thing. Centennial is a really nice sort of lemony flavour. Cascade is the classic sort of grapefruit thing, and as you know, if you think of Sierra Nevada Paleo, that's a Cascade beer all the way, and those classic kind of grapefruit flavours are very, very nice of course, and very well known. But yeah, that's Falconer's Flight, the 7 hop blend. The other hop in this one is Citra. But yeah, we can get rid of the brewery notes now, and let's get on to the tasting of this beer itself. So like I said, 6.6% IPA this one. Let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting. Just a little quick look at the artwork for you there. There you can see on the top of the can, there is the Noon Whistle symbol. All other cans tend to be a little bit like this. The Gummy series ones tend to have a solid colour on the top and a little bit of a metal, metallic appearance on the bottom. And the Prism series tend to be just one solid colour actually. There you can see it's one of these kind of things, one of these cans where you pull the tops off it. It's 473 millilitres I think it said. If I remember correctly, this is an American pint, 16 fluid ounces. You know, I like it that they've put millilitres on this one, because that's a proper measurement. Fluid ounces for me in Europe, I don't understand how the Americans base their system. The milliliter system is based on water, it's based on nature. I always complain about this with American beers. I wish they would just use, you know, 330s and half litres like the rest of the world do. But yeah, that's, you know, that's just me complaining as an angry Scottish Swede, I guess you could say these days. But yeah, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting then. So usually with these beers you can drink them straight out of the can, that is what these are designed for, but you know, for the purpose of beer reviews we can't really do that because then you can't see the beer. But yeah, as you can see with this one, it's poured exactly, pretty much exactly as you would expect a New England IPA to. We still have a little bit in the can there, but we'll leave it for that for the moment. And as soon as you open this beer up, you do get a nice waft of those mangoes that you expect from the Citra. So as you can see with this beer, it's poured a nice hazy, I would say mainly a yellow colour. There is a little bit of orange in the centre of it, I would say, but mainly this is a sort of yellow colour. It's almost like pineapple juice or something like this. So pretty much as you would expect from a New England IPA. If I put my fingers behind the glass there, you can see not really transparent at all. There's a half finger of a frothy, I would say perfect white head in this one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and a few little ones heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, overall it does look pretty much as you would expect for one of these beers. So yeah, interesting this one. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on. Nothing surprising about the appearance of this beer, but let's take a look at the aroma now and see how we do. Yeah. So to me this is really unusual smelling coconut in an IPA. So you've got the mangoes there straight away from the Citra, the mangoes. You've got a little bit of the lychee, which is one of the complexities, and maybe a little bit of a sort of lemon limey and gooseberry note there as well. You can get a lot of different kind of slight complexities from the Citra, but mainly it's a little bit of mainly it's a mango hop, I guess you would say. But it smells a bit like a fruit salad, this beer, to be honest, and that, I'm guessing that'll be the Falconer's Flight, because like I said, that's got the likes of Centennial in it, which is lemon. You can smell a little bit of grapefruit and stuff in this one, but to me, there used to be these sweets that we had, and I think they're German actually, it's Frutella. We always used to get Frutella sweets at home, and if you mash all of these up, I used to like taking one of each flavour, because you had about 7 different flavours of these things. You just mashed it up and then you ate that in a oneer. The smell that you get out of this beer, it really has this fruit salady sort of smell to it, this one, and it really reminds me of that when I would mash all these different fruit flavoured sweets together and just, you know, have a laugh. But yeah, it's a really unusual aroma, this one, in terms of the fruit, and it's definitely like a kind of fruit salady thing. But yeah, you can smell the mangoes right away. There is a little bit of an almost peachy, apricot-y kind of thing coming out of this. But you've got some of the darker tropical fruits in there, like the grapefruit, which will be from the Cascade part of the falconer's flight. But yeah, you can definitely smell the coconut in there. Some of the nice oaty, creamy notes are there as well. I think a little bit of a white bready note. And I think that sort of white bready kind of note is only aiding it really is just kind of adding to that whole kind of fruit salady effect that you get from this beer. So this is definitely an interesting aroma in this one. As I always say, take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. But let's have a taste of this one now. So this one is the Gummycolada from the Gummy series, the New England IPA series from Noon Whistle Brewing Company in Lombard over in western Chicago in Illinois. Once again, let's get stuck into this beer. Slàinte, skål. Oh yeah, that's really unusual that, but I like it, it's good. I've never come across an IPA that's, or a New England IPA at least, or I guess just any IPA that's quite like that. The way the coconut comes out in this is really interesting. Yeah. I like how everything goes together in this beer. This one's got a good little bit of complexity to it. So, as I always say, just sugar the beer around your palate a little bit, and let your whole mouth adjust to it before you start breaking it down. So let's try and do that now. Let's try and separate some of these flavours. So for me, the aftertaste of this one's quite interesting. You've got that white bready note sitting there. You've got some of the oaty creaminess, but you've also got that nice. You've also got that nice kind of coconutty thing. It's almost like the whole malt base is just infused with that coconut quality. There's maybe a little touch of a biscuity kind of quality in the middle of it. Or cookies, as I should say, since this is an American beer. We need to use the American descriptors for this one. But yeah, it's got that nice sort of cookie, biscuity, McVitie's digestive sort of thing to it in this one. I don't know if they actually get McVitie's digestives in America, but that's the biscuit in particular that it reminds me of. But yeah, so with this beer though, you get a nice sort of, you can feel a little bit of the pale malty quality. That just blankets the middle of your palate there, goes right across the middle of your tongue. And on top of that, you start to get the kind of oaty creaminess. There is a bit of a wheaty smoothness to this one. I do think they will have used a little bit of wheat malt in this beer, just going by the flavours. So definitely some oaty creaminess in there. And like I say, the sort of coconutty flavours, it's kind of infused, it almost feels like it's infused into the wheat. You can really feel that in the tongue. You've seen how long it was since I took a sip of this beer. The coconut is really starting to push its way out now, and the wheat is lingering there, and the oaty creaminess, and you've got that little bit of biscuity sweetness in there. So this is definitely one of the more interesting sort of malt bases that I've come across in the New England IPAs, although I guess you would say that the coconut is an adjunct that they've added to the beer. But yeah, I like that, how that malt base kind of comes across, and as you go further into the aftertaste, it's the coconut that lingers there, and a little bit of the wheaty and oaty quality too. So let's just put the last little bit of it in here, and we'll see how we get on. There's a few little bits of sediment in there. I'm guessing that's little bits of coconut, because I know that these beers are fairly fresh when I'm drinking them. I think it says here, yeah, drink by the 13th of December, so I'm guessing, I think it's about 3 months or so that this would have been in the can, but I know these beers that they brought over from Chicago are pretty fresh, because they wouldn't sell them in kiosk if they weren't. They're very particular about that there. But yeah, on the hoppy side of things then, it's a very juicy beer, this one. I can see why they call it the Gummy series. It's all about how it almost feels like just candied fruit, to be honest. Back corner of the palate, teeny little bit of earthiness in there, but very, very minimal. As you come further forward from that, there's a little bit of a kind of florally, very slightly herbal kind of thing, and then at the front corners of the palate you get a little bit of that nice sort of slightly spicy floral aromaticity to the beer. Then round the very front curve of the palate you get that lighter kind of grassy thing, and the beer really comes alive when you go behind the front curve of the palate. That's where you get that little oily bubble where those nice juicy fruity esters come out of this beer. So like I was saying, the mainstay in this one is mango. The mangoes are really kind of forming the linchpin of this beer. So you can feel that there's a little bit of grapefruit in there. As I said, the cascade element of that Falconer's Flight will be there. Citra can give you a little bit of grapefruit as well, and you can feel that just towards the back of that front part of your palate where the fruits come out. You can feel there's a little bit of grapefruit in there. I want to say there's a little bit of a lemony note from the Centennial element as well, and right on the tip of your tongue, it's interesting because you've got a little bit of that. To me, there's a little bit of a lychee and gooseberry kind of thing on the tip of the tongue as well, which is really nice, and I like that. That Falconer's Flight thing, it would be really interesting to do like just a single hop, even though it's not a single hop, but to do it like a sort of single hop style. It would be interesting to homebrew that and just see exactly what flavours you get out of that, because there's a lot of stuff that it feels like quite a complex beer on the hoppy side of things, because you get a little bit of that spice from the, you know, you get a little bit of that sort of spicier character from the Columbus that's in there. You're getting the fruity notes from the Centennial and from the Centennial, or the other one, the Cascade. That's what I was looking for. And also the Chinook as well will give you, the Chinook element to it as well will give you some of the more dank, piney, resiny notes. But then you've got the cluster and the crystal in there as well, which will give you some of the kind of grassier notes. And you can pick up this beer, to me, it's almost like it does have a little bit of that woody note to it. And I think it was the crystal that was supposed to have a little bit of a woody element to it. I've not had the cluster of the crystal too much, but yeah, you can definitely pick up, there is a little bit of a woody element to this beer as well. Yeah, I would stick with that. If you go towards the front of your palate, in the centre where you've got the sort of biscuity, oaty kind of flavours, if you just go forward a little bit, and as this flavour kind of mellows out, I do think there's a little touch of a woody element to this one, so just pay attention to that. But overall, this is a really nice beer. It's ridiculously easy to drink, and I think the coconut does actually work well. As I say, I'd never tried a New England IPA with coconut in it, but it certainly does work. So in terms of the mouthfeel then, mid-bodied beer. Carbonation is very, very smooth. This one has it does have a little bit of a balance between the sort of smooth, almost creamy character. There is a little touch of oiliness to it though, and I think that helps bring out some of the coconutty flavours as well as some of the fruitiness in this beer. In terms of IBUs and bitterness, you know, 25-30 IBUs, not a lot in this one, but again, that's what you expect of this style. The malt base is interesting. This one, it's got a little bit more sweetness from the coconut, but overall it is quite smooth, and you've got a nice juicy fruity edge to this beer as well. But you know, overall, very, very nicely done, this one, and I was glad that I was able to review this one for you here. But yeah, really nice beer, this one, and I like how everything goes together with this. So thumbs up to Noon Whistle for this one. I'd love to review a few of the other beers, particularly some of the ones from the Prism series, because I've really missed the West Coast IPAs over the last year or so. There's not that many of them around these days because everyone is brewing New England beers. But yeah, really nice beer, this one, and I'm glad that I was able to review this one for you here on the channel. So yeah, really cool to do another Illinois beer for you, and I hope you've enjoyed this review. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Check out my social media. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from the Noon Whistle Brewing Company, and hopefully I can get out there and do a few reviews from these guys again in the fairly near future. But it's cool to see that there's a lot of good breweries out there in Chicago, but you know, with the amount of craft breweries in America, it's not overly surprising. But once again, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. This was the Gummycolada 6.6% New England IPA with Citra, Falconer's Flight and coconut from the Noon Whistle Brewing Company in Lombard, Western Chicago, over in Illinois in America. Until the next time, Slàinte just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Slàinte, skål.